a small scale or medium scale industry or a company, so according to you, does it give an additional advantage to grow your profile as a as an employee if you work in a small scale or medium scale company rather than going for a big company?
So it totally depends, how your liking is. So for
Hmm.
example, if you want to grow in a software industry purely and you do not expect any understanding or knowledge of entire product life cycle, so you want to grow as a software engineer only or even a hardware engineer only, then you can choose a MNC wherein you have different departments for all the works. For hardware they'll have different, in NXP semiconductor we have different departments for each and every work, even for procurement, even for component selection. We do not even look into hardware. Being a software lead, I do not involve into uh, hardware domain or in their team. I do not look after that. So that's how. So it is based on your liking. So I was into like product development. So I was more interested into product development. So that's the reason I chose a small scale company. Since in small scale company, how it happens, there are less people. And if you have 10 or 15 people working on 4 or 5 different projects, then you need to take care of everything. So that something I think adds to an advantage. If you want to work on embedded software, you need understanding of hardware side as well. So that's what my thinking was. Even it stands true. At least basic understanding of hardware system, how it works, register configurations, and how these values will work, what will be reflected in the output, when you design a product. So that was something important for me. So it totally depends. Nothing is bad, even if you're working in a small scale company or a medium or a large scale to start with. Nothing is bad. Every experience is good. That depends on your own perspective. So you need to choose wisely what you like, and that is something important to start with. First figure it out, what you like, what you want to do, how you want to grow, then you can excel.
Okay, so after graduations, most of the students are confused or they prefer MS over MTech. So, like, why you choose MTech and what is the additional advantage you get after choosing MTech in industry?
So that's kind of interesting question. So to answer that, I think both are equally good, what I feel. So if you are doing MTech from an esteemed organization, you have ample of opportunities, even in Pune, Bangalore, Noida, Gurgaon, Chennai. So anywhere across India, you have ample of opportunities. You get highly paid jobs for elite MTech degree holders. So that's how, and you will get a good knowledge as well into particular domain if you are. But when you consider MS, so there you have a different way of education, and understanding level is different at that level. But I think both are equally good. But the work culture and for US and India, both look similar. It is somewhat different into Europe. That is what I think. If you are going for MS into Europe, it is like the work pressure is slightly lesser in European countries as compared to US or India. But if you consider US and India, both are equally same. The work wise it is same, but higher management and decision makers mostly sit into US. So that's how, if you want to grow into that direction, then you can prefer MS. The work culture and the perks you get, the salary wise, everything is more in US. But work-wise, if you look at MTech side or working out of India, you have a good technical, uh, uh, good technical work you get in here. Like for example, development of new features for any product, and also most things are outsourced from US. In NXP Semiconductor, most of the management team or senior level people like director, senior director, VPs, they sit into US. They just provide the overview, what they want, even marketing team, what they want and how the product should be. And most of the development happens in India. So both are good. So both has some pros and cons. But to to give a slight edge, I would prefer MS over MTech. I mean, 51% to 49%. So 51%, I would prefer MS. So yeah, that's how. But my suggestion would be MS over MTech. Though I
So,
have done MTech, but yeah.
so moving on, so we have been doing research on your resume for quite a few days now. So there were many words about which we would like to know, and one such word was firmware dump generation. So what exactly it is?
Okay, so whenever you work, like you might have worked onto, or you might have started onto microcontroller things. So you all are from second, third year, right?
Yeah, the
Right,
second,
right.
third, and fourth year.
Okay, so you might have started, some might have done few projects on embedded systems as well. So whenever we work on software on chip or SoC, so on any SoC we run firmware. So into wireless system, how it happens? There are two separate microcontrollers. One acts as a host. Host, you mean to say the application where on which the application runs, and there are subordinate microcontrollers which would support on either on Ethernet side for networking, uh, or like wireless. So where I work, Wi-Fi SoCs. So generally, what happens in case of Wi-Fi SoCs, any Wi-Fi provider, the SoC provider, you take NXP, Marvel, Texas Instruments, Qualcomm, anyone, they do not give you firmware, the exact base firmware. So the code is divided into two parts. One is driver side, driver plus application. The second part is firmware. So they always give you binary for that firmware. They do not give you source code for that .c files, .h files. They never expose that. That is their IP. So for each and every customer, they give only binary format. But now, if you face any issue into that binary, how do you debug? How do you find it out? Where is the issue? So for that, what you do generally, there are scratch registers, the register value of that firmware. So whenever you want to debug anything, you generate a dump of those register values, and you submit it to the parent company like Qualcomm, NXP, everyone, and they analyze the values that at this location the firmware was stuck. So for that reason, we need firmware. So it doesn't only stand correct for this Wi-Fi or wireless SoCs or something. Even for application firmware for any kind of microcontroller, you need to analyze the firmware. If you don't have like live debugging session, if you don't have support for that or something like that, then you need a firmware dump, register values, that how the flow is working, where it is stuck. So for that, the firmware dump is required. Sometimes the dump is into binary file, or you have different tools on Linux platform or Windows platform to analyze these dumps. Sometimes even you get the entire hex value buffer. So like you can analyze from that hex values whether these values going into to firmware or over there are correct or not. Even over Ethernet, these values are correct as expected or not. Like we want to send a particular buffer of maybe thousand bytes buffer. We want to send that. Then at the other end, are we receiving the correct buffer? Is there any issue in that or something like that? So dump is in general the debug method which is followed across industry to get where it is stuck or what is the issue, something like that. So yeah.
Yes. So, sir, next question is like technology is evolving day by day, and being in hardware, like your system can just change, or like it can just have many issues while making it or designing it. So, like, how do you deal with the dynamic changes in technology and how it affects the system and how you
Right.
work on it?
So for that, you need to be a student constantly. You need to keep on understanding. So even I am a student right now. So tomorrow, what will come? Even I am skeptical. What will come into market? What will be the new technology that will come? People are constantly working on that. So now we were till date we were working on Wi-Fi 5. So now Wi-Fi 6 has come. Even we were earlier working on Bluetooth 5. So now Bluetooth 5.2 has come. So even BLE or BLE audio has come. Now earlier there was only Bluetooth audio. A2DP and all profiles. So now we have BLE audio. So the main key is you need to constantly learn everything, keep on updating yourself, keep on checking what's going on into market. So the best website or what you can look after is GitHub. So in GitHub you have different people across the globe working on different technologies. They share that code openly. That's open source platform GitHub. So there you can check what things are going on. Even you continuously keep on checking what are the different technologies on different. So I'm from wireless division, so I keep on checking IEEE websites, even Wi-Fi Alliance, and something, even over these social networking platforms like LinkedIn or even Facebook or something. So there you can join the embedded systems group or whichever field you are most interested into. But key factor is you need to keep on checking what is coming on and keep on learning, keep on updating yourself. If you do that, you will definitely excel. If you don't, then it's kind of you're stuck into a particular domain. It's like even different companies, they keep on bringing the new products into market, like Google or most of the big companies or even small scale companies, they keep on updating themselves. So that's the reason they are surviving, they are thriving into their businesses. So that's the key. You need to learn. uh, when you say R&D department, it is like 50% development and 50% you need to keep on researching what is going on in the market, what you need to be, where you need to place. And even in companies you have different departments for that, like the marketing department, sales department, pre-sales department. So these departments keep on tracking what is going on in market and how the things are. So they keep on telling us that we need this, we need that. You study and get some further understanding on. So yeah, that's the key.
So moving on, as far as India is concerned, there has been a major shift in the networking sector, and still many changes are happening even today. So according to you, what are the future job prospects or opportunities for someone who wants to work in the networking sector?
So if you want to consider networking sectors, there are different networking modes, like wireless technologies. If you consider wireless technology, then you have a 5G networking like GSM or something related to those field, like mobile communication, something related to. Then another part, if you consider a wireless networking, is Wi-Fi. So even for Wi-Fi there is a huge potential, because since this connect, even for 5G plus Wi-Fi, there are connected cars which is moving forward. Then there are driverless cars, so you need a data transmission at a high speed and in bulk chunk of data to be sent in less amount of time. So that even Wi-Fi domain, that is very important. If you consider a medical domain or what I say, uh, the surgeries and different medicines, for that Bluetooth and BLE based systems are very important. So so something like that. So Bluetooth is one of the best careers to have for advancement. Even in future, Bluetooth will play a very big role. Then there is a Zigbee 15.4. So home automation or different company automation system. So there you can look after for that as well. But mainly 5G is currently hot topic across the world. For 5G point of view, you can look after that. So as I mentioned, the connected cars and automotive sector is mainly required for this 5G. That's their requirement for 5G and Wi-Fi, especially Wi-Fi 6. Throughput requirement is going up. So that's all.
Since COVID pandemic, the industries have shifted from it has been work from home since March 20. So how was the shift of industries in post COVID and pre COVID period, and how was IoT important in it?
Right. So as I mentioned in the previous for answer for the previous question, The same answer stays here. IoT and networking sector plays very, very important role across this, especially in this pandemic situation across the globe. So everywhere meetings and work from home situation, everything is taken care by this IoT and networking domain, and huge tremendous amount of traffic is flowing across from one place to another place. So right. So networking is one of the best career to have it in here. Networking or embedded systems or storage, storage wise. And considering this pandemic shift, since I am working from home for the last almost 2 years, it is kind of a mix feeling for me. Like my 2 hours commute time daily it is saved. That I think I thought of utilizing it somewhere for my own development or extracurricular activities or something like that. But there are cons, like I couldn't do that because now I have all the hardware or my laptop or everything with me. Senior people keep on telling me that now you can work at any time. So the 9 to 6 or 8 to 7 or whatever your work timings are, depending upon your job profile, those are shifted. So it is not in my hand to work at 9, or so I need to work at any time. Whenever it meeting can be set at any time, like to match with US timing, Europe timing. So yeah, there are some pros, there are some cons, but I have started liking this work from home situation. So yeah, so let me tell you, today I'm outside with one of my colleagues, and we are attending meetings from here. So yeah, you can do it from anywhere. So that's how. So it is mix. I mean, at least I like that work from home situation. Let's see, but companies are calling us back. So
So, moving on, as far as E&TC branch is in consideration, all the subjects are important for us. But
right.
as long as your sector in which you're currently employed in, which were those specific subjects that helped you the most in the industry?
Specific subject wise, if you consider, all subjects are good, but if you choose a domain,
Hmm.
like you want to go into embedded systems or networking or pure hardware division or VLSI, then that subject you need to think
Hmm.
from that point of view. So like if you want to pursue MTech into, for example, you want to pursue MTech from embedded systems, then you start focusing on these microcontroller, microprocessors, software languages, C++, object-oriented languages, or maybe Python or something like that. So that totally depends on your domain. The syllabus which is designed by university is absolutely great. There is no flaw in that. You need to choose what is your liking, what you want to proceed ahead. But as I mentioned, this IoT, artificial intelligence, and the cloud storage and all those things, these are really hot favorite right now, and you have a very good career in a very big companies at different locations as well, whichever you prefer. So,
Hmm.
and even they are paying very good. The job is very good. So yeah, that totally depends on you. So you can even focus on those particular subjects as well. So if you want to be good into those, if you want to crack interviews, if you want to get placed into a good company, you can start focusing since second, third year as well.
Hmm.
Even if the subject is in the latter half or after years, but you can start studying that earlier as well. So that will help, in brainstorming you at brainstorming, or even understanding few concepts prior to what you will understand later. That adds an advantage. The early you learn, more you learn.